All right, are we live?
Yep.
Hey guys, this is Kelly Stewart reporting down here from Henderson, Nevada at the Henderson Detention Center, where we wanted to bring you some information that's going on in here at the facility. In just a minute, we're going to be bringing in John Lamb, who is also on the scene right now, reporting what's going on. A couple days ago, we had a few of the defendants, the detainees transferred in for trial, Ammon Bundy and Ryan Bundy, along with Cliven Bundy and Ryan Payne. And Ammon and Ryan Bundy understood there would be no more extensive strip searches, and they would not be required to take down all the way down to their garments based on their moral beliefs, their religious convictions. And that was granted in a court proceeding a couple weeks ago by Judge Navarro. When they were transferred to this facility, however, they were told they would need to strip down. They have been sitting in a holding cell since Thursday. Today is Sunday now. And on top of them being left in this facility without being considered booked, without having their legal documents, without having even enough blankets to keep them warm, they're now denying their visits. The interesting thing about this is when we went in to visit them this morning, we were told if we came back at 1 o'clock that the supporters here would be able to visit Ammon and Ryan Bundy. But when we came back, we got a different story. And the story they're telling us is because they're not yet booked, they cannot have visits. So we thought it was a good time because they were talking to us about how important it is to follow the rules. They did tell us that they don't care what the internet says. If it says something different online, it doesn't apply to them. And they said they have to follow the rules. And right now, today's rules are, if you have not yet been booked, you get no visits. However, we thought we would take you to their the Henderson Detention Center policies. And we want to capitalize on the importance of following their own rules. The policy states inmates can be visited once they have been moved to a housing unit or after 24 hours in custody, whichever comes first, or after 24 hours in custody, whichever comes first. We are now past 72 hours in custody. They are denying our visit. They have told us basically that they can violate their own policies based on the day of the week, and there's nothing we can do about it. So we have reached out and we're asking if you would join us. Did you pull John in yet?
Okay, I'm gonna
pull him in. We're asking that you would join us by Henderson Mayor know what's going on here at this facility. We assume when she sets forth policies and approves things for the police department here in her county and her city, we assume that it's important to her that those things are followed. And so we want you, if you're willing, to please reach out to Debra March. She's the mayor of Henderson, and we're asking that you let her know that some policies are not being followed that are very important and need to be followed. One of which being these defendants have a right to be visited after they have been in custody for more than 24 hours. Her phone number, again, this is City of Henderson Mayor. Her phone number is 702-267-2406. I'll say that again. Please contact if you are willing to be polite, but to inform Ms. Debra March the policies not being followed here at the prison. Again, her phone number is 702-267-2406. It's obviously not for her, and let her know that it'd probably be a good idea for her to check in on this week and make sure this gets resolved so that future defendants do not have not only their rights violated, but also the policies of the facility violated. And so we're going to go ahead and bring John Lamb on. John, you are at the facility, is that correct?
Yes, I am. How you doing, Kelly? I'm here with Neil Wampler. We were doing visits today also, so we were present at the time that they denied you all visits to Ammon and Ryan Bundy both. And so we're down here in support of this, trying to figure out what's going on and why they're abusing these guys. And here's Neil here also.
Yeah, that's great. Neil Wampler here, also one of the not guilty defendants from the Oregon Wildlife Refuge protest last year, here out to support since the Bundy trials begin on Monday. It's good to see you, Neil.
Hello, hi, Kelly. Well, we have to refer back to the fact that our P3s should have been out on pretrial release a long time ago, and they're still only being held for political.
Hold on.
They do not follow their own rules. Laws are for us peons. Laws and rules do not apply to the police. and they can be very capricious about whatever impulse strikes them at the moment. In this case, a further persecution of these fine men that are inside the Henderson Detention Center here. Please do
Neil, did you
contact the
hear
mayor
the
of
officer
Henderson.
when it was reported to him that the information on the website states a different policy than what he was quoting us today? Did you hear him say, "I don't care what's on the website"?
Well, quite honestly, Kelly, no, I didn't hear him say that, but you have it in writing there, right in front of you. You know.
Yeah, I wasn't sure who was
That's
standing
exactly what I'm
around when that
describing.
happened.
No, we don't care about the law or policy or the rules or anything like that. You know.
Now I know
There's our little
Gina
castle here.
I know Gina Harding was standing right next to me when that happened, and they said that they didn't care about the policy. There was 2 different individuals in there. So obviously, you're hoping that they'll turn this around, right, and let these defendants have their visits that they deserve to have today.
Absolutely, absolutely. They've
All right.
absolutely put them through a horrible time over this last God, it's well over a year now, going on 2 years.
Yeah.
And it's mind-boggling, actually, and extremely maddening to see the way these fine Americans are being treated.
When I talked to Neil Wampler today, or not Neil Wampler, I'm sorry, to Ryan Payne today. Ryan Payne was telling me how some of the abuse has been going on since they've just been brought over here from Pahrump to Henderson, and how the Henderson guards here are mistreating them and abusing them and telling them, treating them like children in here, making them put their feet on blue lines and their nose against the wall for just absurd reasons. And him and Cliven are in the same cell. Cliven's been having a hard time eating because of him having no teeth.
Why does he not have teeth, John?
No medical, no dentist, no treatment while he's been in prison. Cliven's had to pull out each one of his own teeth while he's been held the last 2 years in prison. And they've given him literally no dentist, no medical proper treatment. A 70-plus-year-old man, and he hasn't been treated properly while he's been held in Pahrump or here in Henderson. So he eats very slow because he has no teeth. And Ryan said that the guards pulled them to the side today at lunch, made them put their toes on a blue line because they were eating slow, and threatened to throw them into the hole because of their slow eating habit that they were having. And Ryan Payne said, there's no policy of how long we have to eat. And the guard says, no, when everybody else gets up from the table, that everyone's leave. And he said, so you all are to get up when the rest of them get up. And he said, well, where's that in the policy? And they just said, well, if you want to go to the hole for arguing, you will. And so that's some of the abuse they've been treated the last few days they've been here.
Well, Gina also visited with Cliven with me, and so we're going to turn it over to Gina Hardin now and let her give a short update on her time with Cliven Bundy. I did visit with him also. He looked very thin and pale, and his weight was just unacceptable. He looked very frail compared to the last time I saw him a few months ago. It was pretty sad. But Gina also visited with
Kelly,
him. So
let me say one thing a little more here. This is just to the folks in general out there who are listening now across the country. That this now is where the rubber meets the road, folks. This whole Bundy et al. Affair is coming to a head here with the Bundys themselves going to be on trial, and it begins tomorrow, Monday, the 30th of October. And we need you here. We need you here.
Thanks, Neil.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it was kind of noisy from the bus. It was hard to hear everything that Neil said, but yeah, I was able to see Cliven today, and the last time I saw him was during a visit at Camp Liberty, and it was very different. This time he looked much older. You know, the last 2 years in prison on a man of his, 7 years old, his age, has really been starting to take his toll. He looked thin. The first time when I visited him, previously he was much more jovial. This time it seemed there was a heaviness on him. So I hope we were able to cheer him up a little bit with the visit today. And I was just talking with Neil today, and he was talking about how important it was to receive letters while he was being detained in Oregon. Sorry, we have a motorcycle going by. And so please, send letters to these guys. I was out in Pahrump yesterday visiting the 5 remaining defendants there who are still waiting, have not even received a trial date yet after 22 months. And they're just begging for your letters and your support, and to know that they haven't been forgotten out there.
Thank you, Gina. One other thing I'll add about Cliven is he's very concerned about his sons. He's very concerned about Ammon and Ryan. He's taught them well, and they understand what it means to stand on principle with integrity and respect, and they're not being respected in this facility. They're definitely treated worse than criminals would be treated. And so Cliven just asked that the people would, one, understand how much he appreciates the support of the community, and that two, would be praying for his family and these other defendants who have been sitting now for 21 months without bail and treated as though they are already guilty and have already gone before a jury of their peers, which they have not yet had their day in court. So please be praying for them right now. He said that Ammon and Ryan are cold. They get one small blanket in this holding cell, and they're essentially just sitting there all day long. They have no legal documents. They have none of their personal possessions, because when the U.S. Marshals came to get them out of Pahrump, they didn't tell them they were being transferred or that they could take any of their belongings. And so they're sitting here getting ready to go to trial without any of their legal paperwork, their discovery, the things that they have been pouring through daily for the last 2 years to prepare for this trial. They're now sitting here without. So I'm not sure how any of you would feel if you were preparing for the meeting of your life that literally would dictate whether you were going to be free or spend the rest of your life in prison. But to have all of your necessities taken from you really doesn't sound like due process to me. What about you, John? What do you think?
Well, Ryan Payne mentioned that same thing today when we visited him, that he still had none of his stuff from Pahrump, none of his religious materials, none of his documents to prepare him for court. He said he's made multiple phone calls to his attorneys. They're looking into it, but it is the weekend, and some of these court-appointed attorneys don't seem to be working over the weekend. We know that there's other attorneys that are being paid or not really being paid much, but they're working through the weekend, even all day today. So it's kind of upsetting when we don't get any response from any of these court-appointed people or even our mayor of this town of Henderson. That they're all on vacation. They can go visit family, they can go on vacation, but why people are sitting in jail about to go to trial and they have nothing they need to prepare properly tomorrow for court. It's just this is not America.
No, you know, if these men were being held in another country and they had waited 2 years for their trial and they were being denied bail over political reasons, most of the people in this country would be up in arms trying to go to war with that country. And here in this nation, it seems like whatever our elected officials, our governing officials, our police department, our U.S. Marshals do, we consider it to be just, because after all, this is America. So you be the judge, America. Is this America? Is this the America you know and love, where you're denied bail for 21 months without a prior criminal record, where you have not committed a capital offense, nobody was harmed, you participated in a protest similar to like Jerry DeLoomis coming the day after the protest, and here you'll be sitting for the next 6 to 7 years in a federal detention center. Is this the America that you know and love? You decide, and if you want to make a change, then it takes getting involved and speaking out and showing up and calling your elected officials and sending letters and protesting and being principled, but by golly, being heard. If you're not going to speak up, then you've already given a consent away, and you've already said that your flag means nothing to you and that you have no American pride. And if there's one thing that I'm willing to stand up for, it's the America that I believe and I know can exist again.
And all we're asking for is accountability from the same people that are enforcing the laws, that the same laws apply to them, the same rules apply to them. And it's definitely a double standard here, from the court system to the jail system to our police force that's out on the streets every day. We're asking for accountability and the same justice that they expect us to be under.
You know, what's interesting, John, if you look at these charges that these defendants are facing: assault to a federal officer, conspiracy to impede a federal officer, threatening a federal officer with a firearm. All of these things are literally the charges that should be on the BLM agents who showed up and literally on camera said, prepare for people to leave in body bags today. They said to shoot people's dogs. They were picking people apart based on their weight, making fun of them, and being ready to target them and kill them. And this was all on our tax-paying dollars. America, are you okay with this? Is this America? Is this the land of the free? Or are we in a third world country under a dictatorship where whatever the federal government does is okay and the people will be silent and compliant? In fact, we will pay for the tyranny that they are bringing upon us. The ones who belong to be on trial on Monday morning is the BLM agents who showed up, Harry Reid, every single person, President Obama, every single person who was behind the land grabs going on in Bunkerville, Nevada, are the ones who should be on trial, the ones who pointed guns at women and children, not these patriots who showed up to protect their neighbors and make sure there wasn't bloodshed.
Exactly. Ryan Payne brought up another question of the day. What is going to happen to one of the agents that testified this last week under oath? I know her first name was Tony. She testified under oath, and she said Ryan Bundy had a weapon on his side, and she was fearful for her life back then. And that at that same time, he had 10 Metro officers standing all around him. She was more safe at that moment than she could have been at any other time. And that got brought up on the stand, and he said that for the video that was played and her testimony, she totally lied. And he wonders what's going to happen with an agent that lies under oath and no accountability again.
That's standard procedure.
Yep. No accountability. So we're asking for some accountability. I'm going to give you one more phone number if you'll call to let the officials know, the elected officials who should be representing Ammon and Ryan here while they're being held in this facility. One of their phone numbers, you can call the city manager, and his name is Robert Murnane, and his phone number is 702-267-2080. Again, Robert Murnane, city manager for Henderson, 702-267-2080, and let him know that Henderson Detention Center is violating their own policy, denying people who have been held for over 72 hours their right to their visits, even though their policy states after 24 hours, even if they have not been booked, they are able to have visits within this facility. So please call and let the mayor know and let the city manager know what's going on here at this facility, because we want especially law enforcement to understand that they are not above the law, and they do not get to change the law based on the day of the week or how they feel about a specific defendant that's being held here in their prison. They are not the judge. It is not their job to play judge right now and to find these men guilty and to make them suffer. John, do you have anything else you want to add?
I guess that's all for now. I know we're about to go back inside. We're going to try to talk to the officer on charge here again. We're going to try to get them to read their own rules and give us visits that are due to these guys that have been in here in this holding tank for the last, or solitary confinement type cell for the last several days. And we're going to try to hold them accountable.
Yep. Absolutely. So please do your part, you guys. If you can't show up, then make the phone calls and let the officials know that we, the people, have a voice and that we would appreciate being heard, or they could face being recalled in the next election. Thanks, guys. God bless. Keep standing, and hopefully we'll see you all down in Las Vegas, Nevada tomorrow at the trial of the century. God bless, guys.
I better not be too close to you.
Hey guys, this is Kelly Stewart reporting again back at the Henderson Detention facility, where we are being told by the officers that the rules do not apply to them. And so we're going to go ahead and go live now with John Lamb. As soon as he comes on, I'll bring him into this and we'll talk about what just happened inside of the lobby, where 6-7 armed guards stood in absolute defiance to the people who pay their salaries and absolutely refused to follow their own rules, and in fact walked away from us in the end and refused to comply and to follow their own rules. We were actually told at one point that visitation is a privilege. It is not a right, which means you can be taken in for any crime and be waiting for your day in trial, and you could sit for 6 months without seeing your family or your friends or your supporters while you wait for your day in court. So let's see if John is ready to be pulled in. Here he is. We're going to go ahead and... All right, so John is going to be coming in, and we're going to talk and let you guys know here what's been going on. Hi, John. Thanks for coming back on the live feed again. Where are you at right now?
I'm down here near the Henderson Detention Center. We just came out of there just a little bit ago again, trying to talk to one of the sergeants or captains here. They shuffled us around with a couple of different guys. The very last guy we got was, I think, an officer, last name Brown.
Sergeant.
Sergeant,
So
yeah.
it started out with two volunteers who point blank told every one of us that the rules on the website do not apply to them. They said, I don't care what the website says. They were telling us that we were not allowed to visit Ammon and Ryan Bundy because they're still in a booking or a holding cell and they have not yet been booked. So Gina Hardin went to their little rule book to find that they were not following their own policies. And the policy actually states that either they had to be booked or be detained here in custody for longer than 24 hours. And at that point, they were allowed to have visitors. And we tried to explain that to the two the two volunteers at the front desk who were incredibly rude and said they don't care what the website says. Both of those volunteers need to stop volunteering and be respectfully released from their duties here since they're working in a police department. Can you give me a backup battery? And don't even know what the rules are. And then after that, we spoke to Officer Dunlap, who told us previously that he had to follow the rules and that the rules were you couldn't have visits if you weren't booked. So we went back in and we read the rules to him and we told him, I said, I'm so thankful we're on the same page today. You want to follow the rules. We want to follow the rules. So let's go back and figure out what the rules are. And we read him the rules, which he then said he couldn't comment any longer and had to go get his sergeant, which was Sergeant Brown. We had 5 or 6 armed members standing in front of us, letting us know that we would not be visiting them. It doesn't matter what the rules say. The rules do not apply to them.
He says that visitations are a privilege in this facility, not a right, and that they were not going to be. There's no discussion about it. It was just they made their minds up, and we asked him why or who done this. He said somebody from higher up gave him these commands. We kept asking him who that was, and so they could take responsibility. He said, "Well, I'll just take responsibility."
Yep, that was Officer Brown. My phone might die, John, so we're going to have to wrap this up. They said that it was. Oh, John, you're frozen. Your screen is frozen, John. My phone might die, so we're going to wrap this up. At the end of the day, Sergeant Brown said that his captain gave him the rules to break the rules. And he also said that visitation was a privilege, and if people were not complying, they did not get visits. I encouraged him to go back to the rules because they say no such thing. They say that you are either to be booked or be held for longer than 24 visit. It says nothing of the sort about people needing to be complying with every rule. They're not in any trouble at this point. They're sitting in a holding cell because they have not removed their undergarments for the guards to touch them and feel them up and see their naked body parts. We have all kinds of devices these days to make sure that nobody has anything hiding, and yet we still take pre-trial detainees, strip them naked, spread apart their butt cheeks, look underneath their testicles, and then we tell them when they're found not guilty to go home and have a nice day. And I really hope you recover from the post-traumatic stress syndrome of 21 months of being sexually violated with video cameras rolling while this has happened nonetheless. But this guard today, the Sergeant Brown today, he doesn't care about rules. He has a badge, he has a gun, and therefore that means that the rules don't apply to him and that the people have no voice. In Henderson Detention Center here, which is why Ammon and Ryan Bundy are still sitting in a holding cell after 3 days, have none of their legal documents, and start trial on Monday. America, if this is the court system and the justice system that you want, remain silent. If not, please call the Henderson Detention Facility and let them know that the rules do apply. And if they want it to be changed, they are more than welcome to go through the process of having it changed and have more lines added in and more rules and regulations added in. But at this time, the rules are very clear. We were here to uphold them, and they are continuing to say that they don't apply. So please call the facility, be respectful. We don't need to stoop to their level and be cutting people off and not listening to what they have to say, but we do need to be heard. So if you're willing, please call. And then also let's do the mayor's phone number one more time, since ultimately the mayor is responsibility when these gangs go rogue like they are and stop following the rules that are very clearly in black and white. That is City of Henderson, Mayor Debra March. Her phone number is 702-267-2406. Again, please be respectful, but leave her a message and let her know that some of her facilities have gone rogue and definitely need to be reprimanded. Thank you. God bless. We'll see you at the trial tomorrow.